Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. My name is Valerie and I'll be your MC this evening. Thank you for being a part of You Alive today, a platform that showcases the many outstanding members of the NUS community who are doing amazing things around the world. The program today is divided into 3 sections: a 10-minute talk by our speaker, Mr. Philip Yeo, a 10-minute interview by our moderator, Mr. Viswas Sadasivan, chairman of the You Alive organizing committee, and finally, a 40-minute Q&A session open to our live and online audience. If you wish to ask a question during our Q&A session, please make your way to the microphones placed along the aisles and speak directly into them. This is so the online community can hear exactly what you're saying. Please keep your questions short, concise, and remembering to focus on the why of the speaker's passion rather than the technical details of his work. Thank you for your kind attention, and we hope you enjoy the show.
You Alive.
We are a global university. We have a global vision. We recruit students and faculty from around the world. We give them opportunities to learn how to be effective in many cross-cultural settings. And we do this by creating a very diverse environment in NUS. And when people from outside look at the university community, what they see are very rigorously educated individuals who do well in their work.
But you know, there are so many universities that are catching up today, and we need to look for a differentiating factor.
We must have strong heart. We must go beyond just merely academic excellence.
Not what the university does and does well, but what the university stands for.
And that is the passion of the community, students, faculty, staff, and alumni, the spirit of the explorer. Somebody who is mentally curious, who has got initiative, resourcefulness, willing to break new ground, which requires boldness, and yet is somebody who is prepared to do something different, to make a contribution.
NUS needs to be seen as an organization that is the nurturing ground for people with great passion and the will to go out there and make a difference to their society. And that's what underscores You Alive. University that's alive.
Where we have members of the NUS community share their passion and their commitment and their contributions in many diverse fields.
To share their achievements, to share what they have gone through in their life with the student and the graduate community.
Could have been a student. He or she could have been or is a teacher, a faculty, could even be an employee, a staff member, or most importantly, an alumni.
Individuals who have committed themselves to do very interesting and different things in many varied aspects and dimensions of sports, arts, culture, community service, academic work. And what distinguishes them is a great passion that they bring to their work.
The speaker speak for 10 minutes about not so much what he does, but why he does it. What sort of trials and tribulations has he faced? Why does he believe in this? And after that, there will be a question and answer, an interview, a fairly tough interview. Following that, there will be a live question and answer session with an audience comprising about 100 people. You Alive will be in 3 different dimensions. One, in the auditorium, right, in front of a live audience. While that's going on, it will be carried live via webcam to the student population on campus. And the students can actually interact live while they're watching it. The third dimension is we're going to be pumping it to linked websites to more than 200 universities, some of the top universities in the world.
There's another very important dimension to You Alive, and that is it's mainly driven by our alumni.
The whole idea is to provoke thought, ignite that latent flame that I believe strongly exists in each one of us.
There are many things in life that will catch your eyes, but few will catch your heart. And only when you pursue something that you are passionate about can you achieve greater heights.
And to make even more distinctive contributions to the society we live in and to the wider world beyond.
You Alive will epitomize that.
Passion,
Action.
inspiration.
You Alive.
An engineer overlooks something practical, something is useful. See, this is the concept of engineer. An engineer is a person with very practical idea. Make something, make a bridge, build a car, make an aircraft, make something, very tangible product. Engineers are not philosophers. They don't sit down and study a tape to do, what to do, to be or not to be. An engineer don't care about that. What I do is always practical. 40 over years in my whole career is always doing something, making something. So Singapore government is an example of entrepreneurship. If we are not entrepreneur in the way we do things, there will be no Singapore. You want to be a socialist? First make money, which means you must be a capitalist first. If you don't make money, how you support socialist objective? You know, the Singapore kids are now trying to take easy way out, look for things that are easy to learn. You know, engineering is not easy, science is not easy. So take something simple. Don't forget, something you learn that's difficult can be applied in a very practical way years down the line. Something you learn simple things will not last you long. I mean, if I am an engineer with a good skill, I can go to any country. People will take me. If I am some social studies, woolly studies, just intellectual freedom, philosophy, psychology. I mean, maybe psychology I can use in HR, but purely for the sake of education, not a skill. Who will hire you? Sure, they don't like it, not my problem. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I believe in honesty. People don't like, get offended, it's their problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Philip Yeo.
Well, where's the organizers? Anyway, I was asked by organizers to give a talk about myself. I said, rather not. What can I talk about my work? So 2 weeks ago, I was in Brunei with the ASEAN Engineering Group. So I talked about what I'm doing overseas now. And yesterday, I just came back from Myanmar. We have food poisoning. So I think I still okay. So let me go quickly. I got 10 minutes to share my experience with you. Then I can take on any questions in this work or otherwise. Well, basically, I started doing overseas work in 1990 when President Suharto asked Mr. Lee Kuan Yew whether he could help economic development of Batam. So December 89, I went to Jakarta for the first time. I don't know what Jakarta is like. I went to see my old boss, Dr. Goh, who was then Deputy Chairman MBS. I said, Dr. Goh, I don't know anybody in Jakarta. Can you come with me since you know that? Okay, you pay. Huh? So that's how and then the rest is history. Now, Batam Indo, I started in February 1990, opened the industrial park in August 1990, in 6 months. I had 10 buildings, prefab, each building 100,000 square feet, floated across, assembled it. At the peak, by 1992, 100,000 employees. Then I spilled over to Bintang. So what you see now is the remainder of Batam today, still going on. Housing, everything complete. So it's actually a township, industrial township, no commercial building, it's just housing and workers. Now, India is an interesting one. Prime Minister Rao asked Mr. Goh Chok Tong, PM, can you help do something what you have done in Indonesia. So I flew Ratan Tata to Batam. Okay, let's do industrial park India. Since I never been in India. So I said, where do we go? He says, come to Bangalore. So that's it. But I went to Bangalore. It's so far from the sea. Airport not that great. I said, it's not possible to do industrial park. Industrial park must near the port. In the case of Batam, all the shipments to Singapore port. That was the main reason. That's why I did in Batam and not in Jakarta. So I said, okay, why don't I develop something different? I walked around Bangalore City. I saw small little shops, software development, HP, Texas Instrument, and digital. Small buildings. And the biggest piece of land was army land. So I told the governor, can I take over the army land? He said, no way. So I decided to find a piece of land outside the city. And we started, and that was how Bangalore was done. Then the rest is all history. And we started Bangalore at the same time I started WUSI in 1994. Then I was asked to help Suzhou in 96, 97. But it's now listed in Singapore Stock Exchange. All my revenue is in rupees, but I convert to Sing dollar. So the challenge is if the rupee goes up, I'm happy. Or my dividend holders are happy. Otherwise, it's okay. That was a piece of land, 70 acres. I couldn't get bigger than that. I wanted 100. I drew a plan, one night plan. Ratan flew in from London. I met Odin. I said, there's no way we can do industrial park. This place is too remote. And let me do an IT park. He said, what's the IT park? There's none in India. This is 1994. And Infosys didn't even build a camp. I joined the board Infosys in 1999. So I said, what I want to do is build in a park, high rise. 22 story. We nearly fainted. There's no 22 story. I said, I want maximum use of space, keep green, 60% green up. 3 million square feet, 20,000 IT professionals. 1994, no, nobody. So next day I went to see Ratan. We Ratan to see the governor, Chief Minister Gauda, who became PM. Built it, today we're up and running. We have more than 3 million square feet in the place. We have now gone to Chennai, Hyderabad, 56 direct employees of computer programmers, no indirect, so it's really effective. But the good thing about India is all my land is freehold. They leave me alone. I cannot count on them for help. They don't steal my land. They don't steal my projects. That's it. In Bangalore IT Park, I have a multi-story car park. I want to keep my land good. A shopping center of 400,000 square feet. I have a hotel and an engineering block because it's not just software. So in the park, I still can grow. I only use maybe 2/3 of the land. I still can grow. In fact, I built apartments too, but ultimately, I gave a story. On the day we did the groundbreaking of Bangalore IT Park, Goh Chok Tong, Prime Minister Rao, the Indian ambassador sit next to me. Hope there's nobody from India here. Mr. Yeo, thank you very much for this project. We are very appreciative. I bought a piece of land next to you. All these years, I have not bought a piece of land next to me. Vietnam, again, who was that time? Pham Bong Khai, I don't know who was the PM, approached Goh Chok Tong. So again, I was asked, okay, I go to Vietnam. I sent David Lim to do the work. Up and running. I used Sembawang in those days. Singapore Technology Sembawang. Today, it's all running. VSIP is fully developed. Now there are 4 locations in the south. So we have now 100,000 jobs. So in Batam, actually Batam plus Bintang is already more than 60, 80,000. Bangalore is 56, direct, indirect, not counted. And then Vietnam is over 100,000. We talk about direct jobs. Anybody not in a factory is not counted. Now, China, I started WUSI. WUSI's project was not my project. I was busy with Batam and Bangalore. And it was Dr. Goh, who was then working with Gumuk, the director of SEZ. The director of SEZ, Special Economic Zone, is the DPM grade. He was DPM Gumuk. All the 14 SEZs of China come under him. And Dr. Goh was the advisor. And Dr. Goh called hold of me. There's a city called WUSI outside Shanghai. Purely industrial, making washing machines, TVs. Why don't I build an industrial park like Batam? Because Dr. Goh helped me. So it took me 2 years, and I started it. So today you're everywhere. And this is WUSI, running well. Purely industry. No housing, no residential. Purely industry. Suzhou. Suzhou was actually, when I was asked to do Suzhou, I said, I'm very busy with WUSI. So Mr. Lee says, who should do the job? I say, Sim Kibun. So poor Kibun blamed me that I got him to the job. Anyway, he did the job for 2 years. He struggled. Finally, I was asked, I took over a project today, 1994. Lots of water. Today it's fully developed. It's a real big city. This is our size. You go to Suzhou today, remember, Wuxi was an industrial city. Suzhou, there's nothing there. It was a place for retired administrators, civil servants, write poetry near the river, near the lake. And that was the reputation. Mr. Ong Teng Cheong was very proud of it, but says, I'm not interested to play with poetry. I'm interested in industry job. Right? Now we just started in Tianjin. Stingbridge has a stake in it. And this is the master plan. It will be 100,000 jobs. Guangzhou, we just started 3 years ago. That's it. Now, with all these projects between 1990 to today, when they're all running, we will have created 1 million jobs overseas. 1 million direct jobs. Not housing, not just real jobs. And this is outside Canton. Wherever I go, I make sure outside the city, I need a space to grow. I never do anything in the city. And this is a master plan. 123 square kilometers, quite big, you know. Now, all this means I just don't do overseas. So in 2001, I took over the research responsibility. Okay, let's build a science city. Because our science park to me is a disaster, because all the buildings are California style. One building to the other got to walk in the sun, you get cooked. I said, I want an integrated science city. So the idea is to build a science city, 200 hectares. The one north land was MINDEF land. I was pump set MINDEF until 1999 when I actually retired. All that land was army land, empty space, transport base. So I said, let's build a science park there. So now we have Biopolis. Biopolis is now over 2.8 million square feet. Phase 3 is done, phase 4 under construction, phase 5. When all the 5 phases are done, 3.5 million square feet of lab space, one location. The land use is 5.6, 9.5, 15 hectares. Why? The buildings are 12-story, 13-story high-rise. Fusionopolis is my last project as chairman of A-Star. 1.2 million square feet, plot ratio of 10. Biopolis plot ratio is nearly 5. I always believe a high plot ratio. Car park below, 6 levels of car park, 600 car parks. MRT station that belongs to us, doesn't belong to MRTC. Swimming pool on top, 50 apartments, performance, there are actually 3 buildings, carry 8. Now, this was built under JTC rule. We didn't care about URA. And that's why I see a lot of bridges, because they're trying to make sure. So in this building, I can walk from place to place. In this building, we proved that I can build a science city outside the city, near enough the city with a subway station. So my station to here, one stop. How much do you pay? 70 cents, right? So it's very convenient. In fact, we have now all the shopping. So between NUS and Fisher Point. By the way, this building doesn't belong to me. All the buildings I built belong to JTC, Soybuild, Ascendas. We just rent. So nobody accuse me of building what called 7 wonders, 8 wonders. I don't own any building. No, I cannot be blamed. Last building, I took over as chairman spring in April 2007. I built my own building. But it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to Soybuild. So the key is that in order, and housing is there. This is near Biopolis. Now we also make use of the Wessex estate, or the old black and white, kept it as place. Now, Stingbridge I won't talk too much about. Basically, I said, let's put all this knowledge together, because we really have experience. We're the only country that actually done overseas project on a G2G basis. No government has done it. So the idea is keep all this information, all this knowledge together, look for projects in India, Burma, even Brazil. So the key is how to expand ourselves beyond our own confines of Singapore. So that's my work, and I'm still doing it until hopefully I retire. Yeah, thank you.
First of all, I'm sure all of you agree with me that this is an amazing man, and it's a privilege to have him here with us. You agree?
Thank you.
He's very much of a legend. You can't quite understand what he says sometimes because he speaks exceptionally fast. But one thing you can get, one thing I caught when you were speaking, Philip, is that it's the use of the personal pronoun, I. You kept using the word I own this, I built that, and so on, as if these buildings and these infrastructure belong to you.
No.
But then why did you keep using the word I when it didn't belong to you?
Well, I put my time and energy there.
So the reason
I'll
why
be
I'm
my
saying
staff,
that,
yeah.
reason why I'm saying that is because
If I
it's-
use we, become royal.
yeah, it's interesting because this is iconic leadership, which you don't see very much of these days. It's a lot more group leadership. It's a brand of leadership that this use of personal pronoun, almost to a point of being abrasive, is manifested. We are now in a culture where this is actually scoffed at. Let me ask you this, Philip. Is that one of the reasons why, because we don't have, or we have scoffed at iconic leadership, with the exception of the PAP perhaps, individuals in the PAP, that we do not today have any of our homegrown multinational corporations that stand out with a personality?
Well, I wouldn't say there is no homegrown company. There are some.
No, which stand out
stand out.
globally with a personality.
Oh, personally, yeah. Well, when I use the word we, because I go down the ground, I select the site, I supervise it, I chair the meetings.
Yeah.
Bangla project I started in 1995, I still chair the meetings.
Yeah. No, it's because you take ownership.
Oh, yeah, I take ownership.
You don't apologize.
By the
for
way,
it.
I don't get free land.
Yeah. No, but
I don't get paid.
but what you're saying today,
Sure,
the language you're using today is not very popular in today's culture. Now, what I'm asking you is, what is your opinion? Do you think it smacks of arrogance, or do you think it is something we need to start asserting?
Well, my view is that if a person is really passionate about the work, he take responsibility. He take ownership. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't get dividends anyway. But because it is my project, I call the shots, I manage the staff, and to me it's just normal. Do I get personal benefit? No. The people in the park benefit, the workers in that park benefit, the Indian ambassador benefited, I presume. But the responsibility accountability is very important. This is a project I started. I go there very often, supervise, I meet with the local officials, and that's it. So my own view is that it's a sense of accountability. I started it, I'm responsible, I carry on.
You're also often characterized as a walking, breathing, talking controversy.
What to do? But the key is, I do it for public goodwill,
That's what you say.
right? If they don't like it, not my fault, right?
No, I'm trying to emulate your controversy, being controversial. But really, at the end of the day, you've been described in many ways. Let me just highlight one of the ways you've been described. Arrogant, impatient, elitist, super administrator, driven to achieve results, not interested in giving people second chances. Or a powerful man with extreme views expressed in even more extreme ways that stir controversy and provoke thought almost with compulsion.
I guess with this description, I cannot be a politician. I'm so safe.
You see what I mean by he stirs controversy? That's a description of politicians. Okay.
You have to be nice to people, right? Can you agree?
So between these two descriptions, Philip, be a sport. Tell us which one approximates the true Philip Yeo.
Well, you see, when I make a decision, I make a decisive decision. I don't listen to second opinion, because I decide what to do. If I make a mistake, I just change.
Is
So
that
I don't
because
spend my time going to
is that because you're
options.
very sure, or is it because you're cocky?
Time. I have to make a decision and go. You come to a street, there are only two ways. You try wrong one, run back and go. You just don't start analyzing option 1 to 10. You must be kidding. I used to tell my people, you come to the bridge, you make a mistake, you double cross it, that's all. That's not very difficult. Right?
Jokes aside, I can vouch for that because I serve on a board that he chairs. And this is how he is. And that accounts for why I believe you are probably one of the most misunderstood individuals.
Yep.
And a lot of that has to do with you being
Okay,
misunderstood. And
go ahead.
would you say that more than anything else, you are passionately patriotic?
Well, this is I spent all my life building things.
Yeah. Then that's
Working in
what's-
Singapore, in MINDEF,
Yeah.
in EDB.
And that's what's been driving you. That's
Yes,
really
yes,
at the
correct,
core.
correct.
Passionately patriotic, a firm believer of the Singaporean talent.
Yep.
Which is why wherever he was, whether it's EDB, whether it's Singapore Technologies, he has always made it a point to say, I'm going to give scholarships to Singaporeans first to go abroad. But at the same time, you believe very much, you have always believed very much, and stirred a hornet's nest once, at least once I recall, where it came to the issue of scholars breaking bonds,
Sure.
where you challenged an elected member of parliament and even suggested that he should resign.
You should quit.
He should quit because
Value system.
he had the audacity to say that it is, according to you,
Yeah.
he had the audacity to say that it's perfectly all right to
break
break
bond.
your bond, a government scholarship bond, because it's nothing more than a contractual agreement, which you strongly disagreed with. Now, can you share with
agree.
us why?
Well, when I select scholars, let's say I select 30 scholars, there will be another 30 on the reserve list. If I select you, you and I have a understanding that I fund your education, you're obligated to come back to serve. If you have no intention to do that, then drop out. Why deny number 31 or 32? The fact you apply for a scholarship, you come to my interview session, the last interview I do, you must have understanding, a presumed understanding, that you have understanding that I'll give a scholarship and I understand you come back to serve. I mean, there's no doubts about it. So if you have no intention, why take somebody else's place? Period.
You even
Yeah.
went to the extent of publicly shaming those who
Name
broke
and
bonds.
shame. Oh, yes.
By naming them, naming those
Yeah,
who
yeah,
broke
yes.
their bond and shaming. Do
Well,
you think
to
there's
me,
a
it's
bit
very
of-
simple. If a young boy of 18, 19, in fact, the boys are 21, 22, you take a scholarship, knowing full well there's obligation. It's all written in the application form. So why go to the charade of taking a scholarship on a Friday, sends an email from Cornell to Swissay, not to me, who was chair NCB. My role in life is to serve the world, and not Singapore alone. You ask Swissay. I checked, Swissay showed to me, I said, what the hell is going on? The Swissay is chairman NCB because I passed it to him. This young man graduated on Friday from Cornell, says, I'm not coming home. I will stay in the US the next 15 years so I can learn and benefit. I mean, it's a joke. If you come home to Singapore and work 1 year, 2 years, and really hate the organization, if you quit, who's going to blame you? So very straightforward. I said, what is going on? And there were a few cases that, in fact, it was not my style. It was 2 of the 3 bond breakers were NCB. So Swissay and I said, oh, this is wrong, morally wrong. Right? And you take a scholarship knowing full application, and it says, the guy never stepped one day in Singapore. No? And there is MP, since all of you here is public domain, says, Philip, I'm serious, besides this scholarship affair. Because I told him, if you come out publicly criticizing me, I will have to defend myself. Say, I'm serious. Will you give my daughter, can my daughter apply for your scholarship? Will you give my daughter a scholarship? So I know, you have breakfast, right? The first tiffin room. And then he says, Philip, I'm serious. Can my daughter get a scholarship? His daughter was in Yale. This is public domain. It's in the minutes of meeting in Parliament. So I look at him and says, will you encourage the daughter to break bond? He said, he looked at me, sure. I said, what kind of MP are you? I mean, this is a moral value. You want a scholarship from me and you still encourage the daughter to break bond? What's going on? I said, you should resign. I mean, what kind of value system are you promoting? Oh, I'm not the only one. There are many more. I said, they all should resign. I mean, and that very night I left for London. My staff, Timothy, Sebastian, wrote it down. I just filed and ignored it. When the hoo-ha came about, DPM, this is, hey, is there any minutes? I said, there must be. It's normal habit. Somebody is scribbling away. There's a scrap somewhere. 400 minutes of meeting. Make copies to circulate out through Parliament. And someone says, Chairman EDB is right, you should resign. I mean, if the guy had the cheek to ask me, the audacity, to ask me for a scholarship for his daughter, and there in front of me says, I'll encourage my daughter to break bond. She was here. Well, I mean, it's nonsense. So I said, I stick by my value, is wrong. That was it. But he never told the rest. He just only told, I asked him to quit. I don't need his MP's job. Why would I ask the MP to resign? In fact, DP asked, hey, why you ask the MP to? So I explained, like this. You see, he didn't tell the other side. As far as to me, it's not an incident of having to quarrel with somebody, right? No big deal. But that was true. So it came out in Parliament notes. The minutes was given to TPM, circulated to everybody. That was it.
Did you,
Yeah.
did you have to pay a price
Whoa.
for sticking
They
to
say
your
I'm an
values?
arrogant, dead MP, civil servant. By the way, he had criticized me in Parliament. Tan Cheng Bock defended him. I was not in Parliament to defend myself. It's not very fair. This is a democracy, right? They now haul me to Parliament. Can you please explain?
Did you say
There
it's a
were-
democracy?
Tan
Sorry.
Cheng Bock was there, Chung Hee Kor was there, and 14 other MPs lining up to attack me. I mean, based on one man telling Tan Cheng Bock, telling all the rest, I asked all of them to resign. Apparently, I was told there were 15 MPs against my resigning, why they should resign. Because he didn't tell them the whole story. So all MPs were excited. Who is this civil servant tell us to resign? Oh. So I said, no, I didn't ask him to resign for nothing. Why should I ask him to resign? So it's a background.
But did you have to pay a price?
Oh, yeah, yes. They say I was arrogant, I was against MP. So that's it.
But do you think, apart from being labelled, did you have to pay a price?
Well,
Career-wise?
it didn't bother me. I just ignored him.
So you're suggesting you had?
Yeah, I
you
just,
did have to pay a
well,
price.
well, whatever you like it, I got 15 MPs in Parliament who at least realized that I was not wrong. That I raised the issue of asking him to resign because to me he had a wrong value system. That you asked me for a scholarship for your daughter twice in front of my staff. I got 4 witnesses. In fact, Swissy was supposed to at the meeting, but stuck. And the audacity tell me, I will encourage my daughter to break bond. Why? Anybody will not blow his top. It's nonsense.
How many, just out of curiosity, how many of you here
By the way,
agree-
this
agree with-
actual records is in Parliament minutes.
apart from the records, even if you're telling a lie, how many of you here would go with his account? How many of you?
You can trust
Well,
me, right?
A significant amount.
Yeah.
You know, what I find refreshing is, regardless of how controversial some of the statements you make, although some of them I still can't quite understand why you made those statements, but we shan't go there.
Okay.
But regardless of that, it's quite rare to find a Singaporean, a homegrown Singaporean, with your level of audacity, courage, and I must say, much as sometimes it can be irritating to the sensibility, it is refreshing.
Well, thank you. But
And,
the key is that we need to people who really believe in what they are doing.
Yeah.
You cannot this wishy-washy, yes, no.
Yeah.
I work for Dr. Goh, a very difficult minister.
Yeah.
When I refused to do something, he gave up on me.
Yeah.
I said, I'm busy in part-time, please leave me alone for next week. Okay. So there I was ready, I said, okay, I ready to start UC. Oh, straight away call the party sec, mayor, met me at the airport, went straight to the industrial field. Didn't have a dinner. Sat down, I told him, give me the map, we draw this line. Then I came back, after 2 talk to, I already selected a piece of land and start work. Now you have to be guest honor. I said, 2 years he waited, he didn't complain. He told the Wusi guy, be patient, and this guy has other priorities. So you have bosses who respect. You know, I work for him, it's the most difficult. Most people say send 2 people to his office, 1 come out dead. Right? It's a
But
reputation.
you see, the thing that I'm curious about, Philip, is he's not an engineer. Why should you respect
Oh, it's not
him?
engineer, it's economist.
Because according to what you said,
Yeah, he's economist.
you have only time for engineers.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
Dr. Goh did a woolly subject.
Yeah, economics, yeah.
I think
made a remark
I
like
think
that.
it's called economics.
Yeah.
Quite a few other people who actually made a huge difference in this world, like Aristotle, Socrates, they're all woolly.
They are not
You know what I
engineers.
mean? Don't you think
But he
that-
was exceptional.
Oh yeah, now you
He's
use
exceptional,
that.
he's exceptional. Look, when
No,
he was
you got to defend yourself.
He was my minister. He called me, look, why are we making mortar bombs? Mortar bomb 81 mm, 60 or 20. And when CIS, I use forging. I buy raw steel in tube and in a cube form, and then I heat treat and then I forge. He said, look, the Australians are using casting. Means you melt the iron, pour in the mold. So how to argue with him? And he just read an article. He's a minister economist, give me a hard time. So I called my engineers, okay, let's go to Safety, get the Austrian bomb. I bought the Austrian bomb, cost me a bomb, because I could not get bedding. I got my CIS bomb, I did trial test, 81 bomb test. Show all the fragments. See, the Austrian bombs, the fragments very soft, and they don't go very far. My bombs are forging, hardened, heat treated, and the fragments everywhere. So I say what I call the CEP. Q's ratio is there. Okay. I mean, the Minister of Defense bugged me to death on the mortality or lethality of my mortar bombs. Why wasting money buying expensive forging press?
But the difference is, he was trained to ask you the right question.
Oh,
They gave you the opportunity to explain.
Well, he loved to do. Then one day I
See, he's just evading the question and the issue. You know, like a true blue engineer who's just linear, right?
By the way, just to add, Dr. Goh had great respect for engineers. He says, okay, we will now recruit only defense engineers. So I came up with this term called system engineer. The word system engineer was created in India. So wherever you got a job, you call me, oh, by the way, can you take a look at the bus system? This is 1972. I was a director of finance. Since your budget seems to be okay, can you look at the bus system? Defense minister. So I formed a team. I went all around Singapore, STC, Tay Kok Yak, and Hockley. I said, this is a disaster. I said, the buses are abandoned, broken down. There are graveyards everywhere. I said, what do you want to do? I said, write a paper to him. 2 pages, create Singapore bus system. He took it up. Minister of Defense went up to PM, bypassed the Minister of Transport and Communication. Then he came back to me, oh, by the way, this is, let me see, February 1974, March. Oh, approved. We will form the Singapore bus system. You'll be the GM. I said, Doctor, I'm going to Harvard, you know. Well, now he's the Minister of Defense. Nothing to do with bus, but he saw the bus breaking down, asked me to do a job, and then SPF response. So I said, I have to go to Harvard. Why I have to go to Harvard? I said, well, I need a break. I worked for him for 4 years enough. So he got hung him to be the first GM SBS. So SBS was created because I say socially, economically, over competition is crazy. 4 bus companies, all losing money, all can't afford to retrofit the fit. Here's the Minister of Defense getting involved in transport. Right? And then he has another funny one comment, hey, we're trying to close, now it was the DPM, Minister of Education, we want to close on the pig farm. He took over primary production, PPD.
That's right.
So I went to see it, and he said, what do you want me to do? Oh, we want to close a pig farm. Yeah, you will close a pig farm. It's a job like that. No. Can you find a way to do pig farming? I said, how do you do pig farming? Well, there are a lot of tankers empty, surplus tankers. Why don't you get a big tanker, create into a holding hole for pigs? You know why we close down the pig farm? Pig farms are very polluting. So I said, well, if we have a big tanker, the pigs can drop into the sea. No more pollution. So I did all the studies. I said, look, it's very difficult to put a few 100,000 pigs in a floating container in the sea. They will die of heat stroke. Pigs are substantial heat stroke. But he's very creative. From pig farming closed down, how to find alternative, put pigs on a container. Wanted me to create layers, fabricate. It can be done. I said, I can do all that, but the pigs will not survive. And his argument was, there's no more pollution in Singapore, just drop into the sea. Pacific, outside the sea.
So basically quite clinical.
Oh, yeah, very clinical. Very clinical. It's real, it's engineer type.
He said it, not me. Okay, let me ask you one.
For every problem, there are solutions.
I'm sure. And I've heard enough of that in Parliament. Now, let me ask you this question. You believe very strongly that there is an entitlement mentality among Singaporeans. And specifically, you highlighted that the younger generation of Singaporeans tend to have this, it's my entitlement. And there's a lack of willingness to work hard to get that entitlement. It's like, it's my entitlement.
Yes and no.
Why did you make that comment?
Well, see, our generation, we have nothing. We struggle, we build up. And what we have today is a legacies of previous people. As you progress, the young people say, look, why do I have to work so hard? Why do I have to take on difficult science courses, engineering courses? Why don't I take something softer? So that worries me, because ultimately what we built are people who took the hard stuff and built it for today. Don't forget, we have people say, oh, you're not creative. We don't have great poets, we don't have great artists, but that's not our makeup. We built Singapore as an economic entity. True, we have to diversify, but The worry is that young people today take it and say, look, there's no longer the hunger to keep it. They have to get something done. That's it. Now, to be fair, the younger people, there are some who are more. Those who go out of Singapore come back better appreciating what we have done. Surprisingly, they go out there, you will see whether in Vietnam, in Burma, they come back realizing, or in India, they have much greater feel that what we have done here is really no drop from heaven. So one of the keys to get our young people out of Singapore one semester to semester to see the real world. If you go to California now, there are 11% unemployment.
Yeah.
You go to Nevada, 25% unemployment. Wait, it's not all Nirvana there, no? It's Nevada, not Nirvana. That's real. You go to Burma, there are a lot of people who are unemployed, underemployed. That's real world. So in a sense, like it or not, we have made something here out of finite space. Yesterday, I was just talking to the mayor of Rangoon, explaining to him. His land area is twice mine. And he's very keen to see how we can help him. So we have come so far, our reputation, because we made it. And I see no reason why our young people should not appreciate that. And that's the key concern I have. If they appreciate, if they carry on, they'll be good.
What's your sense of public service and public duty?
Well,
I mean, you've been a
in my
public servant all your
generation,
life.
right, because I was bonded, I had actually the scholarship not paid by Singapore government, paid by Canadian government. I served by bond, I forgot to leave. And because I had a good boss, Dr. Goh said, stay on. And his motivation to people is very simple. If you are good, I give you more work. If you're no good, I don't give you work. That was a very interesting way. He doesn't promote you because he has no authority to promote. But if you don't give you work, you better leave. If you give tomorrow's work, you still get tahan. Try to see how much more to give you.
What is it that drove you?
Huh?
What is it that drove you?
Oh, when we are minister, he will give me work. And that's important because when a person can get a job done and is given more work, then we are worthy of contribution. And he appreciates that. You know? So you have to have people who treat the juniors in the same way. So I learned from him, if you got good officers, I give more work. No good, I don't give work. Same tradition. Because there's no way I can change the dollars and cents. It's not just dollars and cents. It's that I appreciate, I value the person's contribution. So if you work for me, remember, you get more work, you should be thankful. Right?
You were certainly not very highly salaried.
No, nothing. I'm not poor, neither am rich.
Yeah.
I didn't buy a piece of land next to
You're
bungalow.
certainly not one of the top 1,000.
And say I retired long ago. I took my pension.
Which means that you're most likely not going to be a possible candidate for cabinet.
Safe.
Do you think, final question, what is your view of the current discussion on the salary review?
Well, this morning,
as a seasoned public servant.
yesterday I was watching PM. I was in Rangoon Airport, watching PM, poor chap, spending an hour explaining all the intricacies. Right? Why does he do that? Then I came home last night and someone sent to me the answer in Parliament by Vikram. He was very rational. He just demolished everything that the other party committed. And he was right. He didn't argue. So we are wasting a lot of time. As far as I'm concerned, if I am a very highly valued person, let's say I'm 40 years old, why should I sacrifice myself to do all this work? And people argue me about my pay. So I explained to some of my spring office this morning. As a CEO of a company, I get $5 million. I can sack my people. As MP, you cannot sack the voters. There's a difference, right? As far as I'm concerned, I have authority to do what I want within my purview. As MP, as a minister, you have lots of constraints. So it's a challenge for people to realize that, hey, it's not fun, you know. But this young, new MP, I listened to his arguments, very good. We explained, he didn't come up with any solution. I said, look, you land of Gulliver Travels. You want to knock the egg on the big side or the small side. And the same day, he's cracking the egg. And he brought me back to Gulliver Travels, the land of Lilliput. So you got people who understand that it makes a mockery of us sitting in Rangoon Airport watching the PM defending salary. More than an hour, you know. It was in a VIP lounge. The poor chap. It's ridiculous. I mean, a young man, young MP, gave very rational. He should argue for nothing. You want to crack egg, the big side of the egg, or the bigger egg, or the smaller head, top side, bottom side. Silly. I think you should watch this. Give a 10. I don't think you watch, but that part was on YouTube, you know. One of the best. He's a young MP. He didn't argue. He has no interest to be a minister, no aspiration, but argument that you are wasting your time. Good,
Okay,
good.
so we know your view
So
on
it's
this.
hopeful.
On that note, let's open it to the floor. Short
You're quiet.
questions, no speeches. They're trying to digest what we just said.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with Valerie. Introduce
Hi
yourself, Val.
everybody, my name is Valerie. I'm the online moderator today. So while everything was happening, there was a chat going on online with discussing what you were talking about. So the first question I have was actually left by a user earlier today. And his name was, one second, Andy Weem. Okay, so it's
Yes.
a couple of parts. So he says, how do you think Singaporean engineers should transform themselves given the huge flood of engineers from the region and those coming into Singapore? What is the competitive edge that you can find in Singaporean engineers?
Well, I think our engineering students are the best educated, best equipped labs. There's no reason why our engineers, people build Singapore like us. So, but we are short of engineers. When Prof. Chu was the Dean of Engineering in 1982, I went to see him. I was still in defense. I said, look, you are only training 300 engineers a year. In India, I recruit 150 a year. There's only left 150 for industry. I was also on board of EDB as a member. I said, you need to expand the university engineering intake. So he says, okay, what is your great idea? What do you want? I said, well, expand to 3,000. Obviously, he fell off his chair. Today, we have produced 4,400. We are so short.
Yeah.
See, our young students from young, English fluent, the best equipment in the lab, the best facilities. You look at an engineer in India, they don't have a very great lab. So there's no reason for our students not being better off. But we must be willing to start at the ground floor. If our young engineers, so when I interview some young people, so I ask them a silly question. So where do you see yourself in 3 years' time? Manager. Don't they have pride being an engineer? They all aspire to be a manager. Anything to do, just change the title. You know, when I started Jurong Island, it cost us about $5 billion to reclaim from the sea, build up. I couldn't get engineers to work in Jurong Island. No? Why? It's too far, it's too hot. So one day I was in Ho Chi Minh with Mr. Lai, my colleague, we want to have lunch. He was late, came down from hotel. I was standing there at the restaurant outside. Young man came behind me. Hello, Mr. Yeo. I said, hello. I don't think you recognize me. Obviously, I don't. I came from India. You built Jurong Island. I'm an engineer. Now in Singapore, I'm married. I'm Singaporean. Hunger. He came to Singapore because I built Jurong Island. And he came to Singapore because Singaporean kids don't want to go to Jurong. It's too far, too hot. He's now in Singapore. He says he has one kid. Anyway, I can't remember. I forgot his name. It's not that our engineers are no good. It's that our guys want to be a manager overnight. See, as when I started as an engineer, we all spend our time doing the work. We never aspired to be an engineer. We became beyond an engineer. We want to be a manager. So one of the problems are people are impatient. These young men from India work in Jurong Island is chemical industry. You have to walk in the sun to check the plants. Doesn't mean you're always in the plant. You go to the control room. But the idea is Jurong so far, there's no MRT. All kinds of excuses. Now, we produce 4,400 engineers. A lot of engineers, students, and graduates drop out to do other things. So we end up importing more and more engineers. And those engineers come from overseas are hungry. They're very hungry. So whose fault? So if you want to be an engineer, you have to be get your hands dirty, work for a few years until a point. In a factory, we call it a plant manager, a plant engineer, then a senior. You go up the ladder. You must have vertical depth. So our young people are impatient to be a manager. So what do we do? It's our fault of us importing. Don't forget, we import these engineers overseas, pay the same pay. No difference. In fact, we are having difficulty in NUS. Fewer students want to do engineering. Yeah. They rather do business studies, what have you, which is a softer option. You know? In fact, I was just talking about friends from Vietnam. You want to build a business school, very easy, table and chair. When I build engineering, I need to have labs, equipment. It's a very expensive hobby. I said, you want to build a business school? Oh, table and chair. Sit under the banyan tree, I can give a lecture on business. Yeah, but so I always criticize why our bright A-level kids don't realize that they are all science stream, right? Not willing to go. Only problem lie with university. Can the university be more practical? They don't make silos, electrical, mechanical, civil. There are some good schools in the US, just first degree, general engineering, psychology, accounting, economics, broad enough. If they decide to be a true engineer, they do their masters. But a 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, and boys are older, they say, oh, engineering, just electrical, civil, do I really want? So we create ourselves. The first year, second year, we should let them, then they decide they really want to specialize. So when I did engineering, my engineering was economics, accountancy, economics, psychology, everything. Metallurgy, fluid dynamics, but jack of all trades. I decided only in my master's I want to do control engineering, system engineering. So I have no qualms. I did 20% of my course material were liberal arts. Dev or salesman, what have you. So basically university must realize that we are not able to attract our students because we are very, vertical silos. It's silly. At 19 years or 20 years, we're not too sure. Let them have the flexibility to choose courses, and then they decide at the third year, fourth year, all their masters. That should be a practice. I've been telling the university umpteen time, but they just one in, come out. Hard to do. You know, the best school in Harvey Mudd, they only take 100 bright students every year. All GPA of 1,600, they're only in one course, general engineering. Because these kids are not too sure what they want. 90% goes to master's degree. Some go on to PhD. But at master's, they specialize. They go to another school. By the way, this school has no master's. It's only undergrad. They go to Caltech, Stanford, or this school do their master's, 1 year, 2 years. And at master's, they decide they really want to do electrical, mechanical, what have you. But they only one course. General engineering. It covers a whole broad, which is a good balance with humanities and engineering.
Sure.
You know,
Okay,
I did engineering law, I did economics, I did accountancy. Why not? So it's not that we have a lousy education system. No, I think we have good engineering education. We're definitely better than tables and chairs.
You want another, is there another question?
Oh, then it open up better.
Yeah.
When they open up.
Now let's have one more question from a student and then we'll open up.
Okay, yeah, just we've got one more user who asked 2 questions. Perhaps you can summarize. Username Jean Nguyen. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, first she asks, with the current competitiveness of global trade, what challenges or competitions do you see in the next 10 years? A little bit of a broad question. And the next thing she asks is, what keeps you going when you have challenges?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, competitiveness is relative. If I look around my neighbor, we are still quite a few steps ahead. Our handicap will be we have a limited population. So a lot of things I want to do are limited by manpower. You know, I just finished a review meeting with friends from Spain. I was on a video conference with a friend in Sao Paulo discussing overseas project. So there's no shortage of people wanting me to go overseas and do work. So I'm going to Sao Paulo, follow Colombia in March. Because friends asked me, can you take a look? Let's meet the mayor, the governor, discuss project. So we have a reputation. So I'm not too sure why. Well, the only competitive issue we have is that we don't have enough people. If the government believes that we want to be totally all Singaporeans, we can't get our job done. There will be no Indian man standing behind me saying he's a new Singaporean. And therefore, the reality is that we need to have enough talent. We have to import talent to supplement our shortage. And that's reality. Beyond the present day industries, I really leave it to my EDB colleagues. But today industries are merging, crossing. It's very hard. So the key is to train our young people broad enough, then they can navigate or gravitate those areas.
So Philip, how do you deal with
pinpoint?
How do you deal with challenges when you face challenges?
Well, just carry on, take on.
Can you share with us one
Every
of the...
challenge is fun.
Can
The
you share
greatest
with us...
danger is the greatest challenge will be dying of boredom.
Can you share with us any specific challenge that comes to your mind?
One
And
challenge,
how you-
hard to say.
There's so many, right? But
Well, when I started the bungalow project, we had 70 acres of land away from the city. Everybody grumbled. Why you choose this place? Oh, by the way, the reason I chose the place, I went to an oil industrial park, spent a whole day with the Karnataka government industrial board. horrible places, factories run down. I passed by a nice green area called White Field.
White field.
You know, I used to deal with IBM. I used to visit IBM called White Plains. I stayed. And it was an hour away from the city. When I started, everybody complained, even my Indian friends, because everybody's in Bangalore. But if I listen to them, I will never grow to the size we have today.
Yeah.
The city has today crammed, jammed. What I did was I told my staff, hire lots of buses, commute. We are the largest fleet owner in Bangalore. Every morning all the buses come, every evening buses go. Now today the city has come nearer to us.
Yeah.
In fact, we're near the airport, so people don't do this or this. So the challenge is, you listen to people say, you should go to the city and build a city. But I told the city, there's not much space. Lucky I can create 1,000 jobs. Today in the city of Bangalore IT Park itself is 26,000. So you get a lot of people. When I started Batam, everybody was being now near the port, Batam port, or near the airport. I chose the center of Batam because there was a reservoir there. Look, water is important. I need a place for housing people, I need industry. And because it was away from everybody, in 1998 when they had this economic problem in Tunisia, the safest place in Batam was my Batam Industrial Park. I have a wall, security, all the guys ride into a place, gave them sugar, rice, everything. We became a refuge center. If I'm in the city of Batam, there were riots.
Yeah.
There were riots. So all the Batam ladies everywhere ran to our park for help. So we provided protection. We gave them, make sure their work taken care. So a lot of things you do, you have to look beyond the convenience factor. Why you want to build this place away? Why you want to build this obscure place? You know, all of this. So you must be willing to believe enough that you think ahead. Long term, what can we do? You always problem. As far as engineer, nothing is impossible. You know, what I used to say, miracles take a bit time, slightly more time. So you must believe in that it can be done. But it's a job that you must convince your colleagues. That's it. Anyway, you can always fire colleagues. Joking.
Thank you.
Yeah. You cannot fire voters, you can fire colleagues. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Tan Si Ping. I have two questions for you, Philip.
Yes.
First thing, you are a hard-nosed engineer, no doubt. But have you got a softer side? Because if you have a project to make an industrial park or the Batam and so on, but sometimes how do you go about gelling all the different views from engineer, architect, and so on, all that, each have their own view.
Yeah.
So how do you manage the people, people managing skill? The second one is your softer side, the cultural one.
Yeah.
You go to a place, do you consider the local customs and the culture or not? Because if they say they cannot build a 13-story building and you go ahead, I'm sure there will be resistance from them. Although the government asks you to go there, welcome. Yeah. But what about local population on the ground? They may resist and say, no, we oppose and all, and some strike or whatever it is.
Okay.
Can you comment?
Well, when I proposed by Batam Industrial IT Park, I believe, and I was still right today, to build a high-rise so I can protect the greenery, maximize use of land. And then my engineer told me it's a very expensive hobby. Secondly, the government got shocked. So my high-rise is 12-story. Today, I have no more land left. So the key is that, yes, today, after the Infosys, I joined the board Infosys in October 99. Muti is a good friend. So he has copied my idea of building high-rise. The idea is not to use the land this way, but use this way. Keep more greenery and go high, because in the same building, I can provide the air conditioning, the floor space, the mover. You don't want to walk out from building to building. If you build a cluster of building, green, like the way California start, walk from building A to building B is very hot. When I build a high-rise, I have to provide high-speed lift and everything. It's a living city. So, when I do in industry, most of the time outside the city. So I don't face a problem of the culture issue. The culture is that people live there, work there. And those I leave it to them. In Batam, I leave it to them. No problem. So all engineers are very rational people. And we all have different views, but at the end of the day, you have to rationalize what is right or wrong. And as engineers, we make mistake, we correct it. There's no holy cow to fight over it. That's my experience. Yeah.
But you obviously are also, must be a very persuasive person. A lot of these things would involve quite a bit of negotiations. And just hard-nosed alone, engineer.
Well, let me give you an example. Batam.
Maybe inside you there is a philosopher that you're not aware
I went
of.
to Jakarta in December '89. I met all the ministers. With Dr. Goh was my advisor. January, I got the agreement signed, February construction work. Right? I did not get my land title until 1992. I didn't have a right to build the building. I don't have any permits. I just built. Indonesia didn't know what to do with me. I mean, I broke all their rules. I explained to you simple. I promised the government I built industrial park in 2 years. Right? I've done it. If the buildings collapse, I'm responsible. They look at me, they give up. I didn't have land title for more than 3 years. And Habibi came to me, "But Philip, you have no permits." I said, "You are my permit." I mean, he asked me to help him. What expect me to do? So if you say I go against it, oh, sure. But don't forget, if I had gone to the due process, there'd be nothing there. So, as far as I'm concerned, there's no personal benefit. I'm doing a job, and they request I did it, and they all respected. So in 1993, the Indian government gave me the highest award, etc., etc. But the key is I broke all the rules. A whole Batam building has no Singapore, has no Indonesian building code. There's none. No land title. They scratched their head, didn't know what to do with me. They gave up because they see the jobs being created. Right? And there was reality. So when you break a local rule, you're doing out of goodness of heart, or you're doing just to defy the people. No, I didn't defy people. I promised them, I promised Brothers Paviro, Somalin, that I will get it done in 2 years. And Dr. Goh was standing next to me. This young man is very impatient, you better listen to him. So I did 2 years. Look, I built 10 buildings. Wong Kok Siu helped me build 10 buildings. 3-story building, each building is 100 square feet. Built the columns, floated across, assembled it. In 9 months. What was the big deal? And he was very worried. Do you think get our money back? I said, each building is 8 million, 10 buildings, 80 million. On the ground. Did we do market study? How many companies don't know? I work on a time that 500 hectares, I can create 50,000 jobs. 1 hectare, 500 jobs. Simple rule. I was right. See? But did I break all the rules? Sure, I broke all the rules. But did I have any personal benefit? No. And the Indonesians are very tolerant. They say, literally, they were, after that, every other project, never gave me trouble. Even in Bangalore, they didn't know to me. They left me alone because I created jobs for them. I really created jobs. In Wuxi, what I told the Wuxi people, don't take rice fields, give me lousy land. You use rice fields, no good. And I take the poor land and you build. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Yeo.
Can't
I'm
hear
Nari Lula.
Can you bring the mic up?
Yeah, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
I'm Nari Lula. I'm an alumnus, just like you. And I feel very proud that you are on stage today, and because I followed your record in EDB, and it's a wonderful record. It's an organization beyond excellence. And of course, I'll never agree with you about engineers being the right people, because I'm also an MBA alumni here. So I want to let you know there are all plus points on every section. We all contribute to the same. My main question was, actually, you carry the title of Spring Singapore.
Yep.
And that you haven't spoken at all about it.
Yep.
I'd like to hear some of your actions and activity, because I think they represent more the entrepreneurial capabilities of Singapore.
Okay.
And they also represent small organizations. From my point of view, to start, I'll say that in my experience in Productivity and Standards Board, the predecessor, and then the PSB, they have left behind a very bad record, in particular cheating the people who are businessmen, copying their ideas, doing business in exactly the same
PSB,
area.
the company.
No, all of them, they are behaving a competitor to this. But of course, during your time, I've not seen any activity in that direction. I'm wondering where we are going, because it is the SMEs that got to run. So today we have a situation of the finance minister saying that the business economy is collapsing for the time being for the next 2 years. We should be careful. On the other hand, the SMEs are asked to pay 40% more this year in rental. There's something wrong with our economy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, there's history to Spring. When I was chairman EDB in 86, in EDB prior to 86, the main job is EDB promoting manufacturing. When I came over in 86, I said, look, we should have not just manufacturing, we should have services, exported services, and small business enterprise, or a small business center. And that ran away with EDB for a long time. But I found the difficulty was, an EDB officer preferred to change a DuPont than to change a Akao Angyao. because there's a different scope of work. So it's very hard to motivate good officers to do this local companies. They rather chase mountain. So it was a struggle. So then Caesar was doing just standards, right? Industrial standards research. National Productivity was just productivity and teaching education. But they spun it out. No? They spun up PSB. It belonged to some other private company. So what has remained in Spring when George was minister in 2004 or 5, he took the EDB component, plus the venture capital part, took the Caesar standards, the productivity part, less the education and put into. So what you see today in Spring is standards, productivity, and innovation for growth. So focus on the last part, the standards, productivity, they run quite independently. The innovation growth is basically focusing on SMEs. In 2008-2009, we gave out $8.6 billion of guaranteed loan. We guaranteed loans are up to 80% with subsidized interest of 2.5%. In addition, the Minister of Finance gave subsidy for workers. So in 2008-2009, we provide support to all Singapore-owned companies, provided they have wanted equity share. There was not just SMEs, even the big boys. And the company can borrow a bridging loan up to 30 million. So actually, we help all sectors. Coming to this year, we have to look at the climate. If the climate softens, we may have to re-look and see what other measures we can do. But you must remember, Spring today doesn't own PSB Corp. It's not my entity. Caesar is only the standards. So it's a different entity. I would say today in Spring, the mission I have with the Minister of Finance is that we are now trying to grow about 1,000 companies with a sales turnover of 100 million a year. Today, we have hit 450 plus. We still have now 500 to go. Once my belief, if a company across $100 million size, there's economic strength, the banks are more confident. Nothing wrong with a 10 million, 20 million. The moment they cross from 10, 20, 50, 100, we have a sizable company. And so our target is still, we are actually trying to focus on growing companies. Those that don't want to grow, we'll still help them. But those who want to grow, give them maximum effort. It's almost an EDB function of grooming. So you take the managers, Charles and Keith, two brothers, send them back to NTU to do business school, funded by Spring. They are entrepreneurs, but meanwhile they are growing well. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a follow-up. I like your views regarding the moral aspect of a contract, but of course the entire judiciary section will not agree with you because there are no morals in law. So you have a situation where you're quite lonely, but I do like it and I support it. Why don't you also tell us about the conduct of government, at least in Spring, in regards to the moral aspect of dealing with Singaporeans?
Yep.
Do they have an undertaking not to copy Singaporeans? Do they have an undertaking not to follow up when they have signed an agreement?
You mean Spring copy people?
Spring or people in
the
Spring, they have not undertaken, they have not taken a guarantee to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They will not. That means they talk to them, you tell them your idea, your principles.
Yeah, but they will not steal ideas.
No, I haven't seen anybody. I'm just saying, I haven't gone to Spring for a very long time.
So you're just hypothetical.
I'm just talking in general because in PSB and other organizations,
I don't know.
No, and other organizations, they don't sign a non-disclosure. That means they are allowed to disclose. They can also copy the business on their own with their family or others. I'm saying that the principle should be government servants dealing with entrepreneurs who are creative should never be allowed to do the same business. It's wrong.
Well,
morally
I don't know
wrong.
about
I'm not talking
that,
legally, morally, sir.
Well, as far as I know, Spring has not done any of those illegal things. Let me example as Chairman ADB. As Chairman ADB, 1986, I was a board member 1920, 2000, I still carry on. I know every company I promote. None of my officers buy shares. It's understood. Nobody buys shares in Seagate or any company. Nobody has gone outside to tell another company. In fact, they have great respect for us. I don't have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I mean, it's understood. Why do I have to sign? And that value system, I presume, still remains in government. The officers in Spring Deal companies, they can trust us. Look, the most valuable asset is our credibility. Now, if agencies that are no longer part of my agency, I'm not responsible. But as far as I'm concerned, I stand on principle. I'm on boards of some companies. I refuse to buy any shares. Some members, you should buy shares because you're a member. No, I can stand neutral that I'm on the board because I serve the company. I have no personal gain. Share price go up, go down, doesn't bother me. So in EDB, at least in Spring, we don't. There's no reason for me to sign NDA. I'm not in business. You should trust me. in government you trust. That's hopefully this way. Yes.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, we have to wrap here. But the good news is, for those of you who have got burning questions, and you won't be able to sleep without asking that question or have the question answered, we have another half an hour after a short break
coffee time
outside for a small, more intimate group to ask questions and have free flow of exchange. So hold your thought. We'll have to wrap because this is being webcast.
Yep. Okay.
But in conclusion, if you could just hold a thought, you can ask it later, all right?
No, if you want the last question, then
I
finish.
don't think we have the time.
You have
That's
time.
the
Okay,
problem.
okay,
It's
good.
being webcast.
Okay, good.
Just
How about a very short question?
Yes, go ahead.
no. The question may be short. The answer may be long.
I'm not Steve Jobs. Hard to compare.
I will have to. That's the long answer. I will have to ask you to hold that thought.
Yeah.
Join us there, right? Now, I think you'd agree with me that one thing that stands out, but this man's personality, one word that comes to my mind is, or two words, audacity and integrity. I think, and we all know sometimes when you hold on to integrity fervently, there's a price to pay. And this man obviously has been willing to pay that price. And one asks, despite all the controversial statements and actions, how has he survived? How is he still continuing to be valued? Not only in Singapore, but around the world. I think it's because he believes in what he does. And his motivation is right. And people can see that, as we could see today. We may not want to agree with everything he says, and I don't think he expects us to.
Nope.
But I think we need a lot more Philip Yeos. I'm sure you agree with me. And Philip, thank you very much for allowing us to understand you better this evening. And I'm sure all of you would agree with me that we are very proud that NUS had a small part in making him who he is. That's a compliment. And please join me. I think he deserves a standing ovation.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Philip Yeo.
Thank you.
So, please be seated.
What is that?
We have a gift for you.
Wow.
The gift is especially good because it's got my face on it.
Good. Looks good.
Yeah, we just took it while the forum was going on.
Good.
Right, this is a token of our appreciation for you.
Thank you.
I know you have a lot of it, but this comes with love.
Thank you.
Now, nothing comes for free, Philip.
Okay.
So, this is something, right, for us to keep from you. So here, you have to say how impressed you are with the moderator.
Okay.
Now, basically, some nice words about us.
Okay. Wow, it's a big pen.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Lively event. Yes,
a lively event. Thank you.
Thank you.